Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. You know, a lot of the XRP chart analysts that I follow have noted over the last month and a half in particular that what we're seeing with XRP, as we've seen this major price burst going from 49 cents before the election all the way up to as high as $2.90 and a slight pullback now, tons of them have noted that this really is given 2017 vibes. Like this cycle, the way that price action is unfolding, at least to this point, and from the perspective of many analysts I follow, is that this looks a lot like 2017. Now, that matters to you if you're an XRP holder, because 2017 was absolutely insane. That's when XRP melted faces the world over. It literally, from the bottom to the top of that cycle, increased in price by like about 80,000%. It was the number one performing coin for the entire cycle. XRP literally was number one in performance. It just destroyed everything else. And you'd love to see it, of course. And then, of course, you know, that was, we were in bubble territory. Bitcoin, the whole asset class was in a bubble at that point. Everything ran up and fell back down. But that's what I'm here for. I understand that XRP, if it's going to repeat, the same thing's going to happen. It's going to be way overvalued at some point, which is great. That's what I want, so that I can sell on the way to the top. And then, you know, a simple pinprick and bubble deflates. Got it. Fine. And it's going to crash to the downside. And then, as we get into bear territory, I'm going to start buying XRP and do the whole damn thing all over again. Because this thing, like, XRP is here for the long haul. Like, don't get me twisted here. Like, I am long XRP in terms of, you know, is it going to be here a decade, 2 decades from now? The answer is yes. But when XRP becomes an outsized position of my overall net worth, I'm going to sell anyway. Even if I'm conceptually long, I'm going to sell. Like, how could I not? If it's life-changing wealth, I'm going to take it. And that's what I think is at hand here, frankly. Having waited for over 7 years, seen how XRP's finally responded, and we clearly are in a bull market despite the negative volatility we've seen the last few days. Absolutely. So I'm going to share with you perspective from a couple analysts here that are talking specifically about 2017 and some other stuff. But before going further, I do want to be clear. I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. All right, so here's a post from ChartingGuy, XRP USD chart on your screen. He says, 2017 fractal key pivot dates. If we continue to follow 2017 like we have been, we should hit a new all-time high on this next leg up later this January. So it's worth noting, like in 2017, the first major burst to the upside, if you are, well, I guess you could call it like the leg up, it consisted of more than one burst. Like it didn't literally go up perfectly in a straight line. So the idea of that happening would certainly be in line with 2017. That wouldn't particularly surprise me. And then each of the last two cycles, there was about a 6-month gap between that first major leg up and then you know, the final blow off top for the cycle. And so for XRP, of course, you know, last cycle it only went up to $2 because it was being attacked by the SEC. But still, you know, its first burst was in November 2020, and then in April it rocketed up to about $2. So it did a 20-fold increase last cycle. Think about that. I don't even know if most people realize that, but literally from the bottom to the top of the cycle, even though XRP underperformed, like XRP underperforming was a 20x. Think about that. It went from 10 cents to $2. Absolute insanity. But this is gonna, you know, put that cycle to shame, like what we're seeing right now. Somebody wrote to ChartingGuy in response to this though and said, "Have you changed your idea that we top April or May, or is just a presentation if we follow the fractal, but we can deviate from it at some point?" And here's what he said. No, a majority of alts will top in March or April, in my opinion, but XRP may have its initial local top earlier if we continue to follow 2017. So I will pause to note that most of the altcoin mania last cycle, it was in that time frame, March, April, and May. That's pretty much it. There were other coins that rocketed to some degree later in the year, that's true, but in terms of volume and the most fun for altcoins, it was earlier. So, you know, things are cyclical, so just take it for what it's worth, though, but I'll not be surprised if he ends up being correct. And I say that just based on, if history rhymes. Nobody can consistently, accurately predict timing, but if you're just talking about, hey, here's historically what's happened, yeah, I mean, I can understand if you're just saying if history is kind of to rhyme with itself, which it may. Anyway, then he says, every coin has their own structure, cycles, technical analysis, and timeframes they follow. Either way, January through April is a major top for everything, in my opinion, and we likely see 50% corrections into the summer before any possible continuation, and many won't continue and will make lower highs. Yeah, so that's in line with what we saw last cycle, And, and stuff popped off. Like even in 2017, all sorts of coins were popping off at roughly the same time over a span of months. But a lot of them popped off even after Bitcoin hit its all-time high for the cycle. I mean, for instance, even XRP peaked after Bitcoin did, and tons of coins were peaking after that into January and February, whereas Bitcoin in 2017 peaked, December. So we'll see where it goes. Also, somebody wrote to him and said, all-time high, yes, but anyone expecting $100 should be in a loony house. Okay, that I agree with, okay? No disrespect to anybody, but if you actually think XRP is going to $100 this cycle, yacht your damn mind, okay? Don't let anybody trick you. There's about a 0% that is 0% chance that is happening. But I acknowledge you could see 3-digit XRP at some point in the future, which ChartingGuy apparently agrees with. He wrote, would likely take multiple cycles, maybe a decade or two to get there, and that's only possible if Ripple can achieve its goals. Okay, so as far as it taking a really long time, I agree with him there. As far as it being dependent on Ripple, I strongly disagree. XRP, almost 0% of the time when Ripple announces news, does the price of XRP move. The one example that has ever deviated from that just happened. And it's either the first or maybe second instance in history. There might have been another instance. I can't think of what that was. I feel like there's something like at the edge of my brain telling me that there was a small move based on some Ripple news like however many years ago, but I could be mistaken. But for sure it happened when Ripple announced, hey, the RLUSD news. That actually did happen, which was incredible. And now, of course, it happened in a bull run. And outside of that, anytime Ripple announces anything that's great, whether it's specifically about XRP or not, the market has not responded. So it doesn't care. But even outside of that, what's going to matter and what's going to ensure that XRP has long-term viability? It's the entirety of the XRP ecosystem. Ripple's just a part of it. To think that Ripple is going to be the reason that it's here, I just respectfully disagree with them on that point. Just from a fundamental perspective, I do not believe that. It's about the overall health of the ecosystem, and there's all sorts of other stuff going on. I mean, just yesterday I was talking about a big one, the real-world asset narrative. Well, that's a real thing, though. Like, and I'm not saying that because it's 2024. I was talking about this in 2017, okay? Because, XRP Ledger is the first platform where you could actually tokenize stuff. I don't think most people realize that either. And it's the first blockchain with a built-in decentralized exchange. And so if you continue to have all sorts of stuff, like money market funds are now are tokenized on the XRP Ledger, and Bitstamp's doing something with derivatives. I mentioned that in a video yesterday. If there's an entire ecosystem around that, that would be enough. Even if Ripple went bankrupt, which ain't gonna happen, but even if they did, XRP Ledger could persist just for that. And then maybe people in the future use cryptos that actually work in place of money sometimes. That could be another reason. Like that was Satoshi Nakamoto's original idea for Bitcoin, a peer-to-peer cash system. Well, in a world where people want to do that, and which would only happen, I think, when volatility decreases. Yeah, absolutely. There's another one right there. There's all sorts of reasons, though. And if Bitcoin's going to persist, then, think about Spin the Bits. Spin the Bits is another piece of technology built on top of the XRP Ledger, which makes it possible to spin Bitcoin in real time, because Bitcoin on its layer 1 is just slow and clunky and costly. I mean, there's all sorts of reasons that people would use XRP and the XRP Ledger. I mean, look at the 16 or so amicus briefs that were filed from companies building on top of the XRP Ledger. They were filed in the SEC v. Ripple case. There's way more use cases, obviously. So anyway, I just respectfully disagree on that point. But yeah, the idea of XRP getting up that high, I absolutely acknowledge it's possible. Just don't let anybody trick you into thinking it's going to happen this cycle. It ain't happening. Not a damn chance. Here's a post from chart analyst CryptoV, and he simply wrote, for the visually impaired. And you can see that he's noting what happened in 2017. So you can see this first leg up here. So this is the beginning part of 2017. And it didn't happen literally in one burst. You can see where you drew the circle here. Went up, went back down, little bit sideways, barely, and then rocketed to the upside further. What he's pointing out is this looks very samey as 2017. And again, I've seen tons of analysts point this stuff out, which is really exciting. If XRP is going to perform way more like 2017 than last cycle, yes, please. Here's a post from chart analyst Bobby A, and I just was like, this resonated with me, so I thought I'd just quickly share it. He wrote, if you are an XRP bear, know this. XRP will cause you much pain, frustration, and regret in 2025. Mark it. Yes, I agree with that. Especially if the analysts that say this is more like 2017 are correct. My God, sky's the limit, my friends. That's not true, the moon is. We're not going to Mars yet, but the moon for this cycle, that could happen. Here's a post, and I just wanted to highlight this because it's another person with XRP derangement syndrome with a huge following. A chart analyst, Dubsy, with 192,800 followers on X. XRP derangement syndrome, folks. It's a real thing. XRP USD chart. This is from July 20th of this year. And at this time, like every reputable analyst I follow is like, XRP's coiling up. It's going to break out of this damn near 7-year symmetrical triangle. I was screaming that message because I firmly believed that made the most sense. And here you had Dubsy, though. He's just kind of mocking any XRP holder. He said, if you put $10,000 into XRP in September 2018, today you would have $10,000. And he's got the brain explode emoji. What a sick burn. So I came across that. It popped up in my feed for some reason. And so I responded to him today. And I shared with him this. I wrote, now try this one. And there was this post from Dom. And I shared this yesterday, so I'll be brief. But I want to make sure people see this in case you missed it. This is from chart analyst Dom. And, or 2 days ago, actually, technically posted. But I think I shared it yesterday. Anyway, he wrote, and this is a Bitcoin price against XRP chart. But he wrote, in December 2014, one Bitcoin bought you 43,000 XRP. Today, one Bitcoin buys you 43,000 XRP. Tell me more about that underperformance. So that means if you put the same amount of money into Bitcoin or XRP 10 years ago, they performed equally as well. So he's happy with the way that Bitcoin has performed, right? But then he's mocking XRP by selecting a very specific time frame, when in reality, over the last 10 years, which matters more because XRP is only a little over 10 years old, it performed the same. And that's exciting to me because XRP ain't done. It's going to dwarf the performance that we've gotten from Bitcoin. Think about that. It's incredible. And then I also shared with him this because he missed this bull run. This guy with almost 200,000 followers totally missed it. And this is what you see from people that just irrationally hate XRP. So I shared this. I wrote, I think you missed this one too. And I shared this post from Crypto Michael from around the same time, actually, July 16th. And he was calling for the breakout with a symmetrical triangle. And he wrote, XRP historical breakout incoming. In all my years of trading crypto, I have never seen a 7-year long bull pennant. And I'll pause to note that's because it's never happened in history before. And he knows that, but that's cool. Like, because the longer something consolidates, the greater the force with which it breaks when it does. And we're in a bull market, so duh. And then he says, we might be about to witness one of the most significant breakouts in crypto history. Yep. And it already started. He was calling that in January when this Dubsy guy with, way more followers was just crapping on XRP holders. XRP derangement syndrome, my friends. Then we had this. This is interesting. This is from chart analyst Jacob Canfield. He wrote, I am very impressed with how well XRP has held up. And he's got a pretty respectable following here, 114,000 followers. He wrote, during a sell-off like this, I would have expected sub $2 and distribution vibes. The fact we are still above $2.30 is remarkable. Something worth monitoring. Right. And so if XRP is performing way more like 2017, even if it went a little lower in the short term, which it can and it has recently, so what? It doesn't mean the bull run's over. And there's historical precedent indicating that it's not weird or bad that it happens. It's just normal, actually. And then you have another guy with XRP derangement syndrome. His name is Income Charts. He needs to check his draws. Anyway, he wrote, here he wasn't ripping on XRP, but he just he blatantly lies about it to his very large following. Income Charts has 592,000 followers. So anyway, here he wrote, had the same thoughts. I use it as my retail index coin. Either a lot of the new people buying don't know how to sell or really do think it's going much higher. Yeah, well, people who have been here a long time like me and people who are brand new probably are thinking the same thing. It goes higher. Anyway, Jacob Canfield responded to that and wrote, I scanned like 600 charts on the weekly time frame, and across the board, this looked like a classic market exit pump of dead coins, except for XRP. The difference in chart structure is stark compared to the rest of the market. So there's a reason I'm highlighting that. It's because, and I've been mentioning this in recent videos, XRP has been showing uncharacteristic strength. Well, compared to how it behaves in the bear market and stuff, like you don't normally see this. But here, it's outperforming the other top 100 coins, pretty much all of them. You'll love to see it. It's pretty damn astonishing here. So all that to say, the best is yet ahead. We'll see how this unfolds, but it just does not make sense to be bearish here. Not at all. Even if we go down a little bit further, my attitude is so what? This bull run is not over. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.